Hello people, welcome back to my channel, True Take. In this video I want to look at how women become deluded through attention from men wanting to sleep with them and thinking that that brings them unlimited value just because men want to sleep with them. And a lot of women struggle to differentiate between men wanting to sleep with them and men actually wanting them on a serious level. So that at the end of the day, what happens is, because women can get unlimited attention from men wanting to sleep with them, they think that means that men actually want them for them. But sadly, that's not the case. Men just want to dip their wick and have a bit of fun, and then they find out that the woman is entitled, deluded, crazy, and they're like, yep, I'm good. So this is the problem. Women have a problem understanding that men will always pretty much want to sleep with them as long as they look half decent physically and initially, but once a man gets to know a woman, it's hard to stick around with the woman if she's insane, entitled, deluded, a diva, masculine and combative, because men are fundamentally not attracted to that on the long term. You know, there's a difference between outward beauty, which is initial attraction, and then inward beauty, which a lot of women seem to lack, in my opinion. So let's just watch this video, and I've watched the first minute or so, and it kind of does explain to women that when they break it down, why women have not got unlimited pull with men, and that they need to realise that there's certain factors and certain things you need to bring for a man to want to keep you around. So let's watch the video and take it from there.
No, I mean, this podcast proves that women really can't handle the truth, and they don't like the truth.
He studied
at all.
what? He
Dismissive,
studied what?
angry. We're giving you guys real game.
He studied what?
And the reason why, look, you know, it's interesting. A big reason why so many of the ladies here are uncomfortable or dislike what we've said is because probably no one's ever told them this shit and been as candid as we are, because men don't tell women the truth because they want to get laid.
Also, they don't care. You know what's funny about women as well? You can say, okay, I want a man that's going to be this tall, this much money, but then we tell you, okay, this is how you get him. And you're like, I don't want to hear that shit.
You don't know.
Why? We're telling you the game for free.
Pen and paper. What do you guys want?
You should know.
Okay, he just
wanna
told
get
you
married.
in a nutshell. He asked her generally, what do men actually want? In fact, you don't know it's scary.
Yeah, you should know.
I feel
Okay,
like-
hold, pause. How old are you?
32.
So you've spent 32 years of your life,
Yeah.
and you still can't figure out what a man wants.
I have a pretty good idea.
Okay, what does a man want?
For you to look cute, shut the fuck up, feed him food. Don't embarrass him. Yeah. To respect.
That's surface level.
And that'd be okay, too.
Yeah, no.
That was part of not embarrassing him.
No, and are you going to be with the guy that had your child, that you had a child with? Yes or no? Are you going to be with him? Is that going to be your husband?
That's on him. Is he gonna? Well, I mean, he asked already, but I mean, is he going to?
Whoa, he asked already. What does that mean? What do you mean? And you said no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In her
we
eyes.
don't know.
Wasn't ready yet.
It-
Like
it's
the
COVID.
same.
Hold on. Is he a bum? Keep it real.
Be
I don't wanna-
honest. Be honest.
Keep it real.
Be honest.
Is he
I
a
didn't
bum?
want to be
COVID,
breadwinner.
Got it.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah,
he's a bum.
Yeah.
Understandable. So you
I
give.
didn't
So you
say
give.
that.
I knew that off rip when she said she wasn't with him.
So you had the ability to offspring with somebody that's a bum, and then you're expecting some, like, once again, what does a man want? Does he want a woman that's 32 years old with a baby from a bum?
The answer is a no.
The answer is
Profound
no.
no.
So that is the problem that we see with a lot of women, and it's the classic, you know, they're young, they're in their prime, and that's when they should be settling. But that is the problem nowadays with modern women. That is when they just start to have fun, and they sleep around, they go on the girls' trips, they go party, they get in all kind of crazy situations, sleep around, and then they'll end up pregnant. And 9 times out of 10, you see it nowadays that women get pregnant by men that they've been sleeping around with. And sometimes they don't even know who the dad is. And you'll even see cases where women will sleep around with a lot of guys and try and pin it on the one that they think is going to give them the most money or the best benefits. And it's just a whole messy situation. But the bottom line is, they get to like her age, 32, with 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, and still think that they are a catch and that men should be queuing up for them. And you'll see a lot of things, I've seen it a lot on dating sites where it's like, my children are my world and they are my priority, so you basically have to fit in around that. Well, that's great that your children are your priority, but I'm not going to fit in around your mistakes, life, choices, and offspring from another man. That is the only person that's going to ever fit in that role is a guy that can't get women, who leads with his money or has not got many choices in general. So women will never be satisfied because they will never be able to attain a man that they truly want. Rather than having their head screwed on their shoulders and saying, right, I'm 18, 19, 20, 21, I need to move right, I need to look for a man, I need to get the best man I can with the best resources and the best promise or the best sort of the best outlook, the man who's got the most, the success rate in my mind, who can give me the best life. And that's not always a guarantee, but the problem is you've got more chance of getting your pick of the men when you're, young, rather than sleeping around and doing crazy stuff, living a crazy life, and then having kids to one guy, 2 different guys, and like they say in this video, deadbeats, which is a common thing, because women will often just, when they sleep around, they don't really tend to go for guys who are very intellectual. They go for guys that they are attracted to, and that doesn't mean that they are set up well for life. They're usually bums or deadbeats. And the bottom line is, what guy really wants to come along and pick up all the pieces with all our kids, all our baby daddies, and all our trauma? It's not appealing to a man. Once a man gets to a certain age and realises what he wants, and he can look past the testosterone and the natural sort of a overwhelming desire to make love or have sex, whatever way you want to put it, with a woman, once he can sort of adjust and say, right, I need to start looking at red flags, I need to start vetting women. Once that happens, this woman will not meet the criteria of a man who has got standards. She will only meet the criteria of a man with no standards. And that's usually not the man that she wants, So this is where we are.
Yo, someone said,
But in this day and age, if she had to have had
I don't
want to
look. I'm be honest with you.
Provide?
No guy.
Isn't it crazy the justification
no
loopholes, brother? The justification loopholes is insane.
Like dealing with a woman that has a kid is like playing on someone else's saved game. Like it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Used car.
I'm
sorry, darling. It's the truth.
Women need to just kind of understand that if you're gonna go and have a kid with another guy, any dude that respects himself, that has options and is attractive, is just not going to want that. Single mothers are a bad deal for us because now I got to deal with you, got to deal with the kid, and got to deal with this guy if he wants to be involved in the kid's life.
And I got to pay.
And it's not even my kid. And you can leave me.
Or more common nowadays, multiple baby daddies. That is just absolute no.
Take the kid with you, so it's a double whammy. So I build attachment to a kid that I can't even fight for in court to get back. So no guy that has common sense is going to get with a single mother. It's a bad deal. So I would say just make it work with the guy that you got. But the problem is that women have these really high standards, or maybe he was just a loser and he didn't do his part, which I do think men should provide. But yeah, I think this is why it's so imperative for women to ensure that the guy that they're going to have kids with.
Septum piercing, bright blue hair. That for me just screams trauma and insanity. And it's kind of a well known, in my opinion, from what I've looked at, that women with these septum piercings and crazy hair, it's really them their, how can I put it, their personality becomes a trauma. So they're traumatized through life and their bad decisions, and this is the kind of their outlet to it, and it becomes a personality that they're just traumatized people, and they really will 9 times out of 10 ruin your life. They will bring nothing good, and at the end of the day, that's my experience. Now you can argue with it. Well, on you go. You go and date a woman with these septum piercings and crazy coloured hair and tattoos all over the place and see how you get on. You might get extremely, 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 extremely lucky, but I doubt it.
Is able to be a provider, man.
And that's your best bet.
Yo, someone said, "Oh, Kool-Aid head."
Yeah.
Like think about it. Think about it. You could have slept with anybody on the planet, and you chose that guy.
A bum.
That's your fault.
Oh
no, it's not my fault.
Things aren't necessarily that black and white. How we got to that situation,
Yeah,
it's a whole story.
It's a whole story, you know.
Of course, it's
It's a whole story. But
I made
at the
it
end
to
of the
28,
day,
no babies, so it's not like
Yeah,
I
but-
didn't know
but
how
once
to
ag-
not. Okay.
No,
But
it kind
he
of is your
has
fault.
fair point
It kind
on
of is
that.
because
Whose fault
You
is
have
it?
fair
women.
point
Hold
on
on,
that.
no.
Whose fault is it?
No, it is her fault 100%.
You took your
Women
clothes.
And then this is what happens with women like her. When anybody tries to give her advice, she gets offended, gets in her emotions, and starts getting combative or just disregarding any advice, and they always think they know better, and they just keep leading themselves down a path of turmoil and chaos and insanity, and it makes it worse and worse and worse. And then they end up sad, old, bitter ladies with cats drinking wine and hating men, when it is a lot of it is their own bad choices and decisions. Because everybody knows that there's always like about 80% of men who get ignored, who are invisible to women. Probably would be good for a family and a lot less likely to cheat and abuse them and whatever than the top guys they're chasing or the guys with looks. It's not the best bet because these guys have options. And what do women do who have options? The same. So a woman's born with natural beauty and really they've got the assets from the get-go that can get most men. But whereas men have to sort of build themselves and create a legacy or build their body, build their finances to become attractive or stand out for women to want them. But the bottom line is, women have always got the sort of choice of men. If they're at a certain look, and they can get most men, then from a young age they can get the pick of men. But they always make the bad choices. They don't like the nice guy at that age. They like the bad boy, the one that gives them the emotional roller coaster, the thrills and the spells. Because this is how women are. They're emotional creatures. They've got hypergamy. And I think today with social media, the rise in feminism, it's put hypergamy and monkey branching on steroids, and it just makes women think that they're better than men through feminism, and the hypergamy and the OnlyFans and social media, etc., gives them unlimited access from men, and it gives them this ego that is false in reality because, yeah, they can get attention and they can get guys wanting to sleep with them, but once you go 10, 15, 20 years of living your life like that, just taking your pick from guys, and you don't settle down or you don't choose the right guys, your life will become a mess.
Can abort babies in America. They have 100% control of who's born and who's not in the United States. Women control the entire sexual process and the birthing process. Men have no reproductive rights.
Yeah.
Now, again, I don't like abortion, but I'm just saying that you have that option.
I thought I was getting a 2-for-1 special.
Your body, your choice.
A 2-for-1?
Yeah.
2 kids at one time?
Yeah, I thought I was
Twins?
getting a 2-for-1 special. That's how we ended up here. Because true, women do have the opportunity to,
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, because you were trying to tell him it's not on you, but it really is. Women have 100% control.
So you're saying that because you thought it was going to be twins, you didn't want to...
Correct. I mean, I already paid my fee. They were like, okay, do you want to hear a heartbeat? Thank you. Do you want to know if it's multiples? Sure, why not? They're like, oh, we see 2. And I was like, ah.
Yeah. No, sure.
Okay.
I mean, look, we're not knocking you for having a kid. It's great that you brought life in. I'm just, what we're saying is that, like, you can't blame anybody, though. Like, at all. It's 100% on you. Because women have all the reproductive rights in the United States and any Western country.
And because there was 3 billion men to choose from, and you chose in accordance to your pedigree.
Proximity, sure. We were on lockdown.
Because birds of the same feather flock together. So if he's a bum, what does that say about you?
Ooh.
It's different. It's different.
It's different. Yeah, because I'm a woman and it's different and it doesn't
Actually,
work that.
You say a woman can't just take accountability and say, all right, well, you've got a point, you know, maybe I had low self-esteem or whatever and I didn't, you know, think I could get a guy. I don't know, but women make bad decisions, but they're very, very reluctant to take accountability, and I think that's a big part of modern women's problem, is they're not held accountable. It's like encouraged to be a boss bee. You do what you want, girl. You live your life. Be independent. And there's no shame. Like, women literally do not get shamed for sleeping around and making bad choices. Back in the day, they did. And it kept society within a more structure. It wasn't perfect. It never has been. But it kept the structure better and it kept women more accountable. But in this day and age, it's just a free-for-all. And you have to really look at it as women need a frame to operate in. They need to sort of be forced for their own good in a frame. So if society doesn't force them to live in marriage and not have children out of wedlock, that frame has been demolished. Women just become chaos if they have no frame. They have no guidance. They just live lives of raw madness. That's my opinion.
Miami, people look like money until you find out how much money they have, and then it's like, damn.
So you tricked you?
So he
I got trapped.
She is Haitian.
Things happen.
This is crazy, brother.
Okay,
we need to write
Now
a
it's starting to make more sense once she saw it to fruition. Now it's starting to make more sense. 'Cause in my head, I'm like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, but he was a captain. He's a scammer.
How did he show you?
Miami, she is Haitian.
Hold on. Yeah, basically.
He was a scammer.
So this guy,
Yeah.
right, that you're talking about,
Yeah.
your baby
Scammer.
daddy.
Yeah.
How did he finesse you thinking that he had money? How did he finesse you?
Is he Haitian?
No, he
I
is.
was at the time I was doing underground radio interviews. Met him as an artist from Miami.
A rapper from my... Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God.
know.
The same sad story.
Stupid.
Again.
Come on,
Miami
man.
rapper finesse another girl.
And here's the thing, she's actually very polite and nice.
Yeah, she's nice.
So,
nice.
like, you know, this happens so much. Miami is.
To be fair, she doesn't seem like she's got a bad attitude, like most women. Like, if I was to look at her, I would think she would have a horrible attitude. Now, granted, maybe it takes her to lose her temper and then she becomes insane, but most chicks nowadays are just combative and insufferable from the offset when you challenge them about anything. Because they're just so used to men saying, like they said at the beginning, they're so used to men just saying what they want and being nice to them, to sleep with them. They don't get many men challenging them. And then when a real man comes along with boundaries and self-respect, they fly off the handle and think you're controlling, you're oppressive. And it's insane. Like, women do not actually even realise themselves that they need a man to keep them in line. Because feminism taught them, you don't need a man. You can be independent. You can be a boss bee. Men are less than women. Women are better than men. Women should run the world. Well, I don't think that would turn out very well. It's not perfect the way it is, but I can assure you, if women run the world, which they would never because they don't like doing 90% of the jobs men have to do, the hard ones, if women run the world, it would be a lot more chaotic and worse than it is right now.
Is the king
Cap
of
City.
smoke and mirrors, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have so many scammers here, but yeah, it's an L still.
So look, we wish you the best, but just know that like you're kind of cooked. Let's keep it real.
Is he from?
You're cool,
Is
you're cool.
he from North Miami, Little Haiti?
Chill out.
Yeah, he's a Haitian, bro, 100%. He's a scammer, bro. You already know.
Right. Oh, he's from my hometown.
Scams in Miami, bro. Haitian niggas in Miami are all scams.
To be fair, she took it well. That is on. I'll be honest. Like, most women would be defensive, getting catty, argumentative. So to be fair, maybe she is decent, or maybe she's just, you know, learning. I don't know, but I'll definitely give her credit. She seems like she's quite a decent chick, but going by her look, I would avoid. You know.
Scammers, bro.
Not all of them, but
A lot of them.
a
90%.
nice amount of
Like
them.
90% of them are scammers, man.
Crazy.
I ain't seen one hardworking Haitian in a long ass time except for these two niggas. The rest of them
Yeah.
are scammers.
Oh,
The men, I mean.
Damn, Myron.
Want me to lie?
Damn, I don't want to work.
No.
I don't know y'all.
No,
That's
no,
it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is
I
scammer.
mean, you made that disclaimer.
He
though.
was gonna say that.
You
know?
made that disclaimer.
Yeah, man. Almost every Haitian I've run into in Miami, almost all of them are scammers, bro. Like 90% of them.
Jean
are scammers.
Pierre.
Or they have 3 jobs.
One of them is scamming. Yeah, they have 3 jobs. He drives a taxi. He does some other shit, and then he scams.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
What's his rapper name?
chill out.
Is it Ghost something? Ghost?
Chill out. No.
or like young something.
He trying to
No.
get the tea.
Young 305.
I mean, come on, man.
Young 305.
How
something.
often does he say kid?
He doesn't say kid.
Young smoke and mirror.
I didn't say you were from West Miami.
Yeah, so to be fair, she doesn't fit the typical combative, hateful, argumentative, masculine chick, but I'm guessing by the look of her hair and her nose rings, she's definitely got some issues going on. Listen, I'm not a professional, I'm just going by my experience. And it's not even that. Like, look, the bottom line is, if you have kids from multiple men or even other men, you're automatically put in a category where you've only got a selection of certain men. Your option for every man is gone. It doesn't even matter how good looking you are. Even if you get the guy, it's going to make it harder for him to stick around because it's a lot more baggage, a lot more responsibility. And like Myron said, it's like you're picking up somebody else's game and you're trying to play it. It just isn't right. Men like a fresh start, men like a woman that they can sort of lead and mould and create a life with. Not a lot of men with respect and standards are going to just jump into a woman's life with 3 kids from 3 different baby daddies or different kids from different dads or kids in general. Because it signifies that she's already started another family. You know, she's already been sort of like they said, used, and you'll never be able to start a fresh family with her. You have to sort of fit in around her life. And generally when women get older and they've slept around and they've got kids from different dads, they bring baggage. Not just through the kids and themselves, the different baby daddies and all the chaos that's going on in their life, but, you know, they're mentally warped and mentally disturbed and they're, you know, listen, I've been with one chick, I've been with a lot of chicks, right, but I've been with one specifically who had 1 kid and she was insane. She was not necessarily the craziest, but she was up in the top 5, easily. And it's just the bottom line is, women, learn from other women's mistakes, you know, if women are listening to this. And men, do yourself a favour, get standards and don't just go with a woman because of her beauty. That's never a good sign. And that's what men are sort of programmed to do initially. You see a woman and you think, oh, she's good looking. She might seem okay to begin with, like this woman, she seems okay, but I think you'll find that as you get further into a relationship with them, this is what happens. The trauma comes out, the baggage, the insane life, the mental illness comes out, and then men will just dip. So this is why these women just go from man to man to man to man, because by the time they're ready to settle down, they've attained so much life trauma through all the insanity that they've done in the life that they've lived, they become impossible to be around for prolonged periods of time or have a relationship with. So men are now getting smart to that, and they can see, right, I'm probably better going for a chick that's no kids and that is relatively young. And even then, in this time, that's not a guarantee, you know, but it's giving yourself a better head start rather than just jumping into a relationship with a chick who's got kids to different guys, a lot of trauma. But yeah, that's the bottom line in this video, and the point being that women, you know, they don't really, they think that they've got unlimited value, but that's not the case. Once a man can see what he wants, once a man gets self-respect and standards, most women with baby daddies will only ever be a bit of fun at best. That's it. That, you know, men do not want to commit. Men are getting wiser to women. And realistically, in my opinion, women who have kids are really looking for help, not love. And they're looking for a man who can provide them money to a family that's not even the man's. That's what happens in a lot of cases. So at the end of the day, it's suckers who fall for the trap, and this is why men need to wisen up and say, right, I'm maybe better avoiding that. It's sad, right? It is, but the bottom line is men have to look out for themselves rather than stepping into a chaotic mess that could ruin their life. Yeah, so I'm going to end the video there. Just remember, vet women, get standards, have self-respect, and don't just go with a woman because she's pretty. And avoid all the red flags that are around her that you can see you're maybe not happy with, but you just say, oh, well, we're getting on good just now, and then you end up, before you know it, stuck in a toxic relationship that you're not happy in, and it just is never a good outcome. You know what I mean? You want to give yourself the best opportunity. And you just have to look into it. Look into single mothers, dating single mothers. Type it in. Look at videos, and you'll get so much information on why you should not date single mothers. That's just the reality. The evidence is there. The blueprint's there of everything I've said to you. So until the next time, take it easy and peace.